and welcome to the Ellen Show. With the holidays fast approaching, I thought I'd bring in a couple special guests to talk about food allergies and how they affect special events during the holiday season. Today we have a special guest who suffers from a severe food allergy. Let's welcome Allison.
Thanks, Ellen. Great to be here.
So Allison, I have Dr. Jones here with us, who is an allergist specialist, and she's here to give us some information about food allergies later in the show. But first, I'd like to start by asking you some questions on what it's like living with food allergy.
Of course, and if you don't mind, I'd like to bring my roommate and my mom as they know a little more.
Absolutely, come on down.
Hi.
So my first question for you, Allison, is how does your allergy affect your social experiences, like going out to dinner or eating at a special event? I'm sure your mom could also give us some input on this.
Yeah, so I have a severe dairy and gluten allergy, and eating anything that isn't prepared by my mom is kind of scary. So when I go out to restaurants, I always have to tell the waiter or the waitress about my allergy. While I still face the risk of cross-contamination in the back in the kitchen, so it's kind of nerve-wracking. And it's really different once I get my food because everyone else can eat right away, but I have to take a bite, wait a few seconds, see if there's a reaction, if there's anything in it that I can't have, and I have to send it back. And it's kind of the same when I go to special events. I have to ask what's in this, or is there dairy in this, and stuff like that.
Well, I'll have to agree with my daughter on this one and say that going to a restaurant with a food allergy is extremely tough. You know, as a family, we have to choose what restaurants we go to make sure that there's going to be something for Allison to eat. So we do this by usually looking at the menu before we go, the online menu, and making sure that there's enough options for her so she feels included. But oh my goodness, I remember this one time we went to the Cheesecake Factory after a Christmas party when Allison was about 11. We were starving. It probably wasn't the best place to bring a kid with a gluten allergy. But anyway, the waiter kept bringing out pasta and cheesecake, and we just kept saying, Allison can't eat that, and it was stressful for us, and then the poor waiter was so embarrassed.
Oh my goodness, that is awful. I feel for you and your family. So now let's hear from Allison's college roommate, Taylor. Could you tell us a little bit about Allison's allergy and how it affects you and your living situation?
Yeah, so I honestly just feel for Allison because she's sweet and she never wants to interrupt anybody's eating schedule or have us, what's the word I'm looking for, accommodate her in any way, but we're her roommates, so we really just feel the need to. And I honestly just don't know how we do it because there's a lot of things that have gluten in them, believe it or not. But we also just try, she never asks us to change our habits or anything, but we definitely try to not bring it in the house just to be safe, so she won't have a reaction or anything, so.
Peace.
I will say it can be hard keeping allergens at my house away from my other two children because, they're boys, they have no restrictions and they will eat anything.
I can imagine. Allison, can you tell us a little bit more about what it was like growing up with this severe allergy?
Yeah, so it was really hard for me at first, and I often felt alienated. I always had to pack my lunch. My mom always packed my lunch. And there would be times where we would have during the holidays, Valentine's Day parties and Halloween parties, and kids, we would get candy. But I would have to wait until I went home so my mom could read the package, check the labels, make sure everything was safe for me to eat. So it was pretty hard.
Yeah, I will say it was often very tough with these get-togethers, and I often felt bad having to make Allison wait before she could put anything on her plate. And, it wasn't just hard for Allison. She'd have to sit at the allergy food table, and, she felt excluded, but also for me because I have a full-time job, so going early to prepare the food and bring it to school for class parties was a very stressful event.
Yeah, and we definitely try to keep our apartment as safe as possible and try to keep everything out, but there are slip-ups sometimes, somebody may spill milk on accident and not clean it properly, and then unfortunately that usually causes a reaction for Allison.
So how would you guys say that these acts of alienation make Allison feel?
I think it definitely took a toll on her, especially in elementary school when the allergy was diagnosed. I noticed she went through a really depressive phase. The school made her eat lunch in the principal's office to avoid allergens, and it really made her feel lonely and unengaged with her peers.
Yeah, and it's really hard, especially when like a group of friends want to get together because there's not very many places that are like 100% safe for her. And especially when we want to go to like hibachi because often she has to stay at home because they use so much peanut oil, and even just being in like the same vicinity as it can cause a reaction for her. But I know she hates staying at home by herself, so we usually try to like pick a different place, or like people come over to our house just to like not exclude her and make her feel safe. So.
That's nice. Well, I just can't imagine. So, Allison, what do you think restaurants should do in order to be more accommodating for individuals that have allergies like yours?
I think that they should provide more of a gluten-free, friendly menu, mainly, and just improving the options that there are. Like, I know a lot of restaurants that I go to, it's kind of like the same thing, like dairy-free and gluten-free. I think more emphasis should be placed on food allergies and taking proper steps to prevent allergic reactions and deal with people with allergies better.
I couldn't agree more. Well, Allison and family, thank you so much for being here today. Now I'm going to send these lovely ladies backstage and bring out Dr. Jones.
Thank you. For itchy, sneezy, runny nose, take Equate Allergy Relief, 24 hours.
Welcome back. So here with us today we have Dr. Lane Jones, who's an immunologist at James Madison University. She's here today to share some information about allergies. Welcome, doctor.
Hi, Alan. So nice to be here today. Thank you for
Great to
having
have
me.
you.
So we're going to go way back to the 1900s when the term allergy was first invented. It was invented by a man of the names Clement von Perket. And after this theory was reported, more and more research went into it, and more individuals were becoming like more aware of why they were having these symptoms and everything that was going on.
Cool. So, Dr. Jones, could you explain more on what happens to the body when someone has a food allergy?
Yeah, so an individual with food allergies, the body misidentifies the food protein that's being ingested, and the T cells and B cells within your body will respond and produce an allergen-specific IgE antibody. And when that antibody binds to other cells in the bloodstream, it causes this allergic reaction that people have.
Wow, that is so interesting. If someone believes that they are allergic to a certain food, what would be the process of being diagnosed?
So there are many factors that go into being diagnosed. First off, your doctor will ask for all of your family history, and if there's any other family members who have a food allergy, and then they'll do a physical examination, and you'll be given a skin test and a blood test. And after that, the doctor will most likely recommend changing your diet to eliminate the foods that are
Suspected to be.
yeah.
Cool, cool. So what is a skin prick test, and how would a blood test be an efficient way to help the diagnosis?
So a skin prick test, the doctor will prick you with a food, a food that you think you're allergic to, and then after the food, will go under your skin, and either if you're allergic to it, a red rash will appear or like a red bump, and then that indicates that you're actually allergic to it. And then a blood test will just measure the IgE antibody count after ingesting the food.
Cool. So why would it be important for doctors like you to advise their patients on making a change in their diet before being diagnosed?
Making a change to your diet will eliminate different foods and narrow down the source. There's no cure for food allergies, so one has to change their lifestyle in order to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But also family and friends around you, it'll impact them as well, because they are now going to have to be more aware of what they're bringing into the house and what they're bringing to school and different places, so that the person with the food allergy doesn't have a reaction to the food around them.
Wow, that was so interesting. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Jones, for taking time out of your day to be here with us and educate the audience and the public more about allergies. So all we have for today. Let's give our special guests one more round of applause, and thank you all for being here.